Loving someone but no longer being in love with them. If you've ever found yourself in a relationship where you still care about your partner but feel emotionally disconnected, you're not alone. I'm going to break down the key insights from the book I Love You, But I'm Not in Love with You by Andrew G. Marshall, and we're going to talk about how to handle this difficult situation. Let's get started. What does in love really mean? So first, let's talk about what it means to be in love versus just loving someone. This is something that Marshall really emphasizes in the book. You see, being in love is often connected with passion, excitement, and that deep sense of connection that makes you feel like you're on top of the world. It's that honeymoon phase that everyone talks about, full of desire and intense emotions. But here's the thing. Over time, that initial intensity tends to fade, and the relationship can shift. Marshall explains that when you still love your partner, but you're no longer in love, what's likely happening is that the relationship has moved into a new phase. The deep connection is still there, but the passion can settle into something more stable. So, is it bad if you're no longer in love? Not necessarily. Marshall argues that it's actually pretty common for relationships to evolve, and this is where things can get tricky. It doesn't mean the relationship is doomed. It just means you need to understand the shift and figure out how to deal with it. Why does this happen? Now, let's talk about why this happens. Marshall discusses a few key reasons why people find themselves in this situation. And trust me, it's not always something wrong with you or your partner. Routine and familiarity. One big reason for this emotional disconnect is simply that relationships can fall into routine. When the excitement and newness fade, the relationship can become more predictable, and that can feel less exciting. Over time, people might feel like they're living alongside their partner, rather than feeling deeply connected and in love. Lack of emotional intimacy. Another reason is the gradual decline of emotional intimacy. If you and your partner stop sharing your thoughts, dreams, and feelings as openly as you once did, the emotional bond can weaken. Marshall says that intimacy is one of the key pillars of any lasting relationship, and without it, people start to feel more like roommates than romantic partners. Life changes and stress. Marshall also points out that major life events, like having children, changing jobs, or even just getting older, can change the dynamics of a relationship. These stresses can take a toll on the emotional connection, leaving you feeling less in love. Is it time to let go? So, if you find yourself thinking, I love my partner, but I'm just not in love anymore, you might start wondering, should you stay or should you go? Marshall doesn't suggest that you should just walk away at the first sign of this feeling. Instead, he talks about how this feeling is a signal to take a deeper look at the relationship and ask yourself some important questions. First, ask yourself, can this relationship be revived? Marshall suggests that sometimes a couple just needs to reconnect and reignite their bond. If both partners are willing to work on it, the relationship can move to a deeper, more mature phase. But if you've tried everything and feel that the emotional disconnect is too deep, Marshall also talks about the importance of acknowledging that it may be time to move on. It's never an easy decision, but recognizing when you've done everything you can to make it work can give you the clarity you need. How to rekindle the passion. Now, for those of you thinking, okay, I want to make this work, Marshall shares a lot of advice on how to rekindle the spark. Here are some strategies that he recommends for reigniting that sense of being in love again. Communication is key. First and foremost, you need to communicate. Marshall talks about how crucial it is to have open and honest conversations about how you're both feeling. Share what you're missing in the relationship and what you need from your partner. Sometimes, just talking about it can be a huge first step toward reconnecting. Rebuild emotional intimacy. Next, work on rebuilding emotional intimacy. Marshall emphasizes the importance of spending quality time together, being vulnerable, and reconnecting on a deeper level. You might have stopped sharing your true selves with each other, so make an effort to open up and listen more attentively. Create new experiences together. And here's a big one. Create new experiences together. Marshall says that experiencing new things as a couple can bring back the excitement. Whether it's traveling, taking up a new hobby, or even just trying something new in your routine, novelty can reignite passion. Physical affection. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of physical affection. Simple gestures like hugging, holding hands, or kissing can help bring back that feeling of closeness. Physical touch is such an important part of maintaining emotional connection. When to seek help. If you've tried these strategies and still feel stuck, it might be time to seek professional help. Marshall discusses how couples counseling can provide the tools and support needed to navigate tough feelings and rebuild the relationship. A therapist can help you both explore what's happening and find ways to move forward, whether that means rekindling the relationship or deciding to part ways amicably. Ultimately, I love you, but I'm not in love with you is all about understanding the natural evolution of relationships and how to handle the challenging moments. It's a reminder that love isn't always a constant, but that doesn't mean it's gone. With the right tools and mindset, you can either reignite your relationship or find peace with the next chapter. If you're struggling with these feelings, remember that it's normal and you're not alone.